Alright, I've gotten way behind in my arcade PCB videos. Oh man, I haven't done one in months, and to be honest, I've got about 10 more PCBs I haven't actually made videos for yet. So I've gotten way behind on those. So today we'll just do an old favorite. This is one that's, everybody knows, and that is the Neo Geo MVS. Personally, I'm more of a fan of the AES home console, which is what I usually stick to for Neo Geo games. And as you can see, I've got a fairly extensive collection of AES games, which, if anyone wants to see a specific game or has any questions on them, let me know. But yeah, everyone knows the Neo Geo. And since I'm kind of a psychotic purist, I don't want any of those crappy conversions. I hate those. So there's a few games that are Neo Geo games that I want to play that unfortunately were never released on the home cartridge format. Only the arcade, and that's what. So for that, you need an MVS Mobo. Now what I've got, my Mobo of choice here is the MV-1B. Mainly because, as you can see, it's absolutely tiny. Like, compared to the AES here, it is absolutely tiny. Truth be told, it's a very bare bones MVS board. Just the JAMA edge, the dip switches, the volume, and that's about it. The 1B here is specifically a JAMA only, meaning it only does mono unless you really do some crazy mods to it. Just basically about one of the more simpler MVS boards you can get. There's bigger ones that have like controller ports and memory card slots and all kinds of junk, but personally, I only really use this for games that weren't released on the home console, which are mainly just a few shooters and some puzzle games. So for my purposes, the 1B is perfect, and I just love how tiny it is. See, if you take an MVS cart, it's actually, the cart is bigger than the Mobo. Like, it's actually significantly bigger. So, I love the 1B, my MVS of choice. So, yeah, MVS carts, nothing too pretty to look at. This one's Operation Ragnarok, aka Z-Blade. One of the games that I actually originally got in MVS 4, and then that's just Prehistoric Isle 2. MVS games came in a lot of different colors. Black is kind of the standard. Ragnarok here is actually, as you can see, an SNKG cart, which I believe these were actually rentals, which makes sense because the serial number has been kind of taken off. But I don't think these were meant to be privately owned. Of course, now that SNK is kind of dead, nobody cares anymore. But yeah, so the Neo Geo is definitely a fan favorite. Hardware's cheap, games are affordable, very easy to set up and use, big library. So yeah, it's definitely for someone, if you want to get started in the PCB collecting world, a Neo Geo is a very easy one to get. So let me just hook this up here real quick. Okay. And yeah, let's put Ragnarok on. Been playing this a lot lately. Lovely game. Yeah. But yeah, as you can see, it hangs over the edge of the board by a few inches. Nice tiny little mobo. Alright. Oops. Let's turn the power on. Alright, well, let's play some Ragnarok. This game is made by NMK, which, if you're familiar with NMK, you should know that their games are, well, cheesy but awesome. Yeah, to be honest, this game, it's not very good, but it's one of my personal favorites. Let's see here. So yeah, you can choose your character, which is your speed. And then you actually get to pick what weapons you want. But I love the music, because it's like, it just tries too hard. And ends up just sounding incredibly cheesy. And I love every second of it. Yeah, as you can see, the game itself is kind of weird. It's got like it tries to have this like 3D morphing effect on sprites, but they're not even like pre-rendered sprites. They're just sprites drawn like cubes. It's also kind of a weird game because it's got a lot of like mini boss fights almost. Like, there's a lot of parts of the game where the background will keep scrolling, but you won't be able to actually, you know, continue to the next wave of enemies until you kill everything on the screen. One thing I do like about it is the scoring system, sort of. The game doesn't have a real scoring system, but it does kind of have an accidental one. Meaning, see, whenever you shoot a wall, your points just go up. Like right now I've got the vertical laser, so I'm constantly hitting the floor, so my score is just going to go up as long as I hold the fire button down. And what makes this, you know, interesting is that, you know, if you're using the more offensive weapons, like, you kill the bosses a lot faster, which ends up giving you a significantly lower score. Like, you know, if you use the forward shot, the forward missiles, the bosses will die in no time. But if you're using, like, the angle missiles, like I am, that don't even, like, hit the bosses, it makes the game... it makes the boss take significantly longer, which means you get a ton of more points out of it. So basically, if you pick the strong weapons, you'll beat the game pretty easily, but you'll get a crappy score. Pick the super weak weapons, and it'll be a lot more challenging, and you'll get a much higher score. Now, considering this was made by NMK, I'm guessing that that kind of system was kind of an accident. They're an interesting developer. I need to get more of their games. Their games, they don't really make bad games, but they don't really make good games either. That's the way I'll say it. Listen to that music. Just delightfully cheesy. But still though, the game is very fun to play. Yeah. Lovely, lovely game. don't know, let's see, it's quite for the second level here, I think. Now they don't have this time limit anymore on videos. But I like how you level up all of your different weapons separately, including the bomb power-up, which gives you the hyper bomb. Very, I don't know, the game reminds me, it feels very much like a Sega Genesis kind of shooter. It's also got a fairly hard rank system too. The longer you live, it gets significantly harder. Though in general the difficulty is fairly moderate for an arcade shooter. You also get quite a few bombs, so... Yeah. This game also has probably the ugliest ship designs I've ever seen. But there's some nice parallax and... Yeah, like this boss here, if you use the weaker weapons, you can milk him so badly. To see, like, I'm not even really hurting him right now, but just having my... that was stupid. But just by shooting him, my points skyrocket, so... You can sit here and, you know... He will eventually just die if you spend enough time milking him. But it takes like well over a minute, I think. So yeah, and you can sit here and milk, but screw that. Let's just kill him and move on. Yeah. I think this game is very much love or hate. I mean, as far as shooters go, it's kind of mediocre, but I really enjoy this one. I don't know. It's got a fond love for cheese and mediocre to bad games, I guess. But it's quickly becoming a favorite of mine. Yeah. It's kind of weird. When I used to make these videos, it was always a race to get, you know, footage in before I ran out of time, but not limited anymore. Whoever made the soundtrack for this game had a lot of fun. But yeah. If you're interested in getting an MVS, I mean, there are tons of different logos, and it really depends what you want. I mean, a lot of people like to consoleize them, which basically means build a super gun around it. So you have an all-in-one unit. But, yeah. Still a lot of great games on it. Affordable prices. Screw it. I'll just keep playing and see how far I get on one credit. Or if my camera battery dies first. We'll see. It just lost forever to actually start moving. There we go. Oops. Die! I've not been able to 1cc this yet. I can get to the last level, but boy, last level the difficulty jumps up dramatically. I think it's the last level. I haven't beaten it, so I'm not sure, but it certainly feels like the last level. I really like this level, though. Really nicely done asteroids level. Yeah, the music makes the game feel a lot more exciting than it really is, to be honest. But good music can really either make or break a game, in my opinion. I've played some otherwise great games with terrible music that just totally ruin it. That was really stupid. That's okay. Went up. Die! What do I do?
Dun.